Admiral Zexathara's 4 eyes tracked the readings on her command display with growing disbelief. The hegemony fleet, 700 vessels strong, representing 12 different species and 3 centuries of naval engineering, hung motionless, in the void above the 3rd planet of this unremarkable system. They had come expecting to find a primitive civilization, barely capable of crude chemical rockets. The intelligence reports had been clear. These humans were a young species, discovered only 50 rotations ago, still confined to their single world. Sensors detect massive spatial distortion approaching from the system's edge, her tactical officer reported, his crystalline voice carrying an unusual tremor. Unknown configuration. Mass readings are unprecedented. Zexathara's mandibles clicked in irritation. Define unprecedented. The vessel appears to be approximately 47 kilometers in length, Admiral. Displacement readings suggest a mass equivalent to a small moon. The bridge fell silent. Even the hegemony's largest dreadnoughts barely reached 8 kilometers. Zexathara had personally commanded vessels that could crack continents, ships, that struck fear into the hearts of rebellious worlds across 3 galactic arms. But 47 kilometers. Visual confirmation incoming, the sensor operator whispered. The main display flickered, then resolved into an image that would haunt the nightmares of every surviving crew member for the rest of their lives. The human battleship emerged from hyperspace like a leviathan rising from the deepest ocean trenches. Its hull was a study in brutal pragmatism, angular, scarred, and absolutely massive. Weapon ports dotted its surface like the eyes of some ancient predator, while massive engines at its stern burned with the fury of captured stars. But it was not the ship's size that sent waves of primal terror through the hegemony fleet. It was the silence. Every species in the galaxy followed the same basic protocols of space warfare. You announced your presence, declared your intentions, demanded surrender, or issued challenges. You transmitted on standard frequencies, broadcasting power and purpose. It was civilized. It was proper. The human ship said nothing. It simply arrived. And with its arrival, something fundamental shifted in the local space. The very fabric of reality seemed to recoil from its presence. Energy readings spiked across impossible spectrums. Gravity wells fluctuated in patterns that hurt to contemplate. "Admiral," her communications officer managed, "we're receiving no response to our hails. Standard frequencies, diplomatic channels, even emergency bands. Nothing." Zexathara's primary hands gripped her command throne. 3 centuries of military tradition demanded she follow protocol. "Open a channel. Full-spectrum broadcast." Her voice, amplified and transmitted across 700 ships, echoed through the void. "Unknown vessel, you have entered hegemony space. Identify yourself and state your intentions. This system is under our protection." The human battleship's response was immediate and horrifying in its simplicity. Every weapon on its vast hull swiveled to face the hegemony fleet. Thousands of gun barrels, missile tubes, and energy projectors aligned with mechanical precision. The movement was synchronized, purposeful, and absolutely silent. No threats, no ultimatums, no posturing, just readiness. "Admiral," her intelligence officer's voice cracked. "Preliminary scans indicate the vessel is crewed by approximately 50,000 beings, all human, but the power signatures. Admiral, their reactor output exceeds our entire fleet's combined energy generation by a factor of 12. 12. The number hung in the air like a death sentence. "Weapon systems analysis complete," the tactical officer reported. "Admiral, their primary armament appears to be gravitational manipulation devices. Secondary systems include what appear to be antimatter projectors and—" "Admiral, I'm detecting weapon types that don't match any known technology in our databases." Zexathara's throat felt dry. The hegemony had spent millennia cataloging every known form of warfare, every possible weapon configuration. They had contingencies for plasma cannons, kinetic barriers, exotic matter weapons, even theoretical time displacement devices. But unknown weapon types suggested a level of technological development that made their intelligence reports not just wrong, but catastrophically inadequate. "Sir," her communications officer whispered, "I'm detecting internal transmissions from our fleet. Ship commanders are requesting orders. Some are requesting permission to withdraw." For the first time in her illustrious career, Admiral Zexathara understood why they might want to. She had faced down rebellion fleets, pirate armadas, and the legendary ghost ships of the Andorian expanse. But she had never encountered anything that radiated such casual, overwhelming lethality. The human ship continued to drift forward, its massive bulk moving with surprising grace. As it approached, new details became visible. The hull bore scars, deep gouges, and impact craters that spoke of battles beyond imagination. This was not a ceremonial vessel or a show of force. This was a warship, tested in combat, proven in fire. "Admiral," her xenobiology specialist reported. Shakily, psychological analysis suggests the humans are employing a terror tactic. The silence, the overwhelming display of force, it's designed to create exactly this response. But Zexathara knew better. She had studied human psychology in the brief time since first contact. They were a predator species, evolved from pack, hunters on a death world where everything tried to kill everything else. They understood violence on a fundamental level that civilized species had forgotten. This wasn't a terror tactic. This was simply how humans said hello to potential enemies. The battleship continued its approach, and one by one, the ships of the hegemony fleet began to drift aside. Not retreat. They were too proud for that. But definitely creating space, yielding the field to something they instinctively recognized as apex predator. Admiral Zexathara watched as 3 centuries of hegemony naval supremacy died quietly in the void, killed not by human weapons, but by human presence. The intelligence reports had been wrong about everything except one crucial detail. Humanity was indeed young, hungry, and utterly terrifying. The battleship passed through their formation like a shark through a school of fish, silent and magnificent and absolutely unstoppable. As it reached the inner system, heading toward the human homeworld it had clearly come to protect, Admiral Zexathara finally understood the true implications of first contact. The galaxy had just met, its new apex predators, and they built their ships like they built everything else, to last, to fight, and to win.